This is your daily how-to. Thing number two. All right. Oh, I feel like I'm not on my A game with the one eye today. It's just driving me crazy. All right. Stop it, Kris. Okay, so theme number 2. What is your daily how-to going to be? Well, I had something else in mind that I was going to show today. And then I was in the club, on the club Facebook page earlier at 12 noon today. And Ann Bill is one of our content creators, and she did an amazing video on she's been doing a 3-part series on Vintage Boardwalk, and it's been so fun to watch her because she's a phenomenal teacher. And for those of you who have seen her teach, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And she shared one of her, well, there were so many tips she shared, but there was one tip in particular that was like this light bulb moment for me. And I was like, oh my goodness, why haven't I thought of that before? And I thought it was brilliant. Maybe some of you have done this before, but I thought, oh, I need to share that with for our 3 Themes at 3 today, because I think it will be something that all of you can benefit from, no matter what kind of project you're working on. So let me tell you what she's going to show you, and then I'll turn the video on to her. She had a short segment on that video today about how to attach a button with your sewing machine. Now, all sewing machines, I would say 98% of them, have a button attachment foot that you could sew a button on with your machine. Did you know that? Some of you may not be aware of that, okay? But that this is a very common foot that's out there, and it's one that a lot of people don't use because they're scared to use it. But let me show you how easy it is, how she explains this. But this is the thing. Even if you've done a button by machine, I want you to watch as to this little trick that she shares on how to get the button in the exact right place that you want. Okay? Are you ready for this? Be ready for it to rock your world. Pamela says her tutorial was so outstanding today. I totally agree. So I want to share this with you and give you an idea of this is just something that you'll find in the club. So let me turn the video on and let's take a look as she shows. Again, she's going to show you, she's going to attach a little button to another project that is in the Vintage Boardwalk book, and find out what her trick is to know exactly where to place that button. Okay, here it is.
Really quick, I've got this set up for you.
And what I did is I have stitched out the Oh Happy Day. The nice thing about Kimberville is they make all these extra projects for us to do, which is so fun and nice and to use in all different kinds of ways. So I went ahead and made this little guy because I thought it was so cute, and I quilted it in the hoop, and now I'm putting the buttons on. And so somebody had asked, how do you put your buttons on? And this is the exact same way that I put all of my buttons on the quilt. The ties, the flowers on the flip-flops, this is how I do everything. So let me go into sewing here. I'm going to go over to my button here that is all of my button holes, and down here on 423 is that is the actual stitch that just goes back and forth to secure your buttons on. So, and then the next thing I did is it tells me up here that I need foot M. So I have foot M here, but I'm going to pop it off really quick because I want to show you this foot. So on this baby lock machine, this foot has a lever that slides forward and back. Can you see it right there? It pops in and out. And what that is
Okay, so some of you are saying that there's no sound, which is really strange because that's how I do all the videos, is I do it the same way. So let me see what I can figure out. Adam, do you have a microphone I could use here by chance? It's not that it won't attach to this one. I need like earbuds or something. Shoot. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, Carol had sound. Okay, so one of the things to try. Yeah, you had an echo and then no sound. Did everyone try turning up their volume? I don't think that will go in there. Does it? Oh, this one. Okay, let's see if... No, I don't think this is the one. It needs to have the ear in order for them to hear the sound. Now, like I said, that is just the strangest thing because on all my videos, I've done it the same way. So, I'm not sure what happened there. Let me try another thing again, okay? It was there and then went away. We could only hear you and no video. I knew it. Of course, it's the last day we do three things at 3, and then all of a sudden the volume doesn't work. Okay. Be patient with me for a minute. Let me try this one more time. Let me try something else. And I'll back up a little bit.
I never thought of doing it as a baby and doing large pieces, so I'm totally psyched. Okay. Well, let's jump over here really quick. I've got this set up for you. And what I did is I just stitched out the happy day. The nice thing about Kimberly is that they go these extra projects for us to do, which is so fun and nice and it's used in all different kinds of ways. So I went ahead and made this little guy because I thought it was so cute. And I quilted it in the hoop. And now I'm putting the buttons on. And so somebody had asked, how do you put your buttons on? And this is the exact same way that I put all of my buttons on the quilt. With the ties, the flowers on the flip-flops. This is how I do everything. So,
Can you give me that microphone again?
Let me go to sewing here. I'm going to go over to my button here that is all of my button holes. And down here on 423 that is the actual stitch that just goes back and forth to secure your buttons on. So, and then the next thing I did is it tells me up here that I need foot M. So I have foot M here, but I'm going to pop it off really quick because I want to show you this foot. So on this baby lock machine, this foot has a lever that slides forward and back. Can you see it right there? It pops in and out. And what that is for is that if you're putting a button on a shirt or something and you need to have a little space so that your button will lift up enough for your shirt to button and be able to, see if I've got a button here that I can show you. The buttons don't sit tight against the fabric. There's actually a little space in there so that when I put my other fabric in and I put it through the buttonhole, there's enough room to cover the thickness of the buttonhole that went in there. Well, that's what this little foot is for. So that when you slide this little clear piece forward like this, or take it back, when you slide it forward, it's just creating a hump so that when it does the stitch, it creates a little area and space for you. We don't want to use that. And what we're doing, we're going to move that out of the way because we're sewing these on and they're not going to be functional buttons going into buttonholes. They're just decorative. So I removed that out of the way so that when I stitch on, it is just stitching that button down. The other thing is that when you sew the buttons on with this M foot, there's space here for you to actually slide your foot underneath here and get it right in there so that you can, whoops. Yeah, your button, sorry. I noticed that on the videos. I say the wrong words often, so correct me. Okay, so there's 2 red dots here, and those red dots show you what you need to align on your buttons so that those 2 buttonholes are in the same place. So normally this little lever here will go down so you can slide a button in to be able to, I probably won't be able to do it, and this is why I don't use it, is to get it on there just right. Look at me. And then you want to line up those holes so they're right there. Can you see that? So they're lined up right there with your 2 red dots. And so that's to affirm that when your needle is going through there, that it's aligned with those 2 dots and your needle's going to go through. Well, now that I've shown you all that fancy stuff to be able to sew a button on, I don't use that. It's like a forklift thing. I don't use it, and I'll show you why. Because I found that these little buttons, you could do it with larger buttons, but these little buttons are so little, I find it overwhelming to do that. So what I do is I get my foot on here, put it down, make sure it's in there. And when I go to put a button on, this is, let me grab this tape here. I grab my very fine Kimberbell tape, okay, and I take the buttons, the button holes, and I just stick a piece of tape on them like that, okay? So you can see that, I've got the tape on there. And then I take that, and I tape it right over where I want to put that button, like that, and I stick it down, just like that. Okay, so that's where that button's going to sit. And then what I do is I take my handy little poker tool. I know there's a name for this. It's to guide you when you're sewing. I can't remember the name of it, but I use it as a poker tool. And what I do is I poke through my paper tape, and I poke my holes.
Stiletto.
Stiletto, thank you.
Took me a minute.
So I poke my holes in there so that I know when I put it under here, I can see right where my holes need to go. Okay?
An awl is what someone else called.
Yeah, an awl. Okay. So now I can see where my holes are, and I'm going to line them up with my 2 red dots that are on there. Okay? And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to have you come over to this side.
Okay.
Okay.
My girlfriend said you're genius.
Okay, and so then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, whoops, this is off of it.
That's important.
Okay, so I'm actually going to walk my needle down with my hand turn, okay? And I'm going to get it right in that hole and make sure that it's aligned, okay? And when I know that it's okay and it's aligned, I push my foot down. So now my foot's holding it securely. When you use this feature, pull this out. You gently want to hold your thread. You don't want to pull it taut, but you just want to hold it gently when it goes to stitch. And you're then going to stitch. Now, on the baby lock, when you stitch a buttonhole in, you can press the pedal down, but it's pre-programmed and it's only going to go so far. You know, it does so many stitches and then it stops. Well, I pulled out my foot's disconnected, so I'm just going to use my start-stop. When you don't have your foot connected on the baby lock, you can use the start-stop button just like you're pressing the pedal, which is really nice. So I'm going to press the pedal, the number here, and it's just going to go back and forth like that.
And then it stops automatically.
And it stops automatically. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to put the foot's lifted up and I'm going to pull it away. Now I have this little thread left here. And I'm going to trim that away. Now normally they tell you that you should, they would be the baby lock authorities. They tell you in the manual that you should leave those threads long so that you can tie them in and out. Well, I think you learned by now that that's a little bit too much work for me. So what I do is I'm going to go ahead and peel off my paper tape, and it'll rip right over where the button was. Now what I will tell you is do not let this paper tape sit on here for a day or so. Don't tape all your buttons down and then come back another day, because the paper tape will get too sticky and it won't peel off your button. It'll get stuck. So I take off my paper tape, and that's gone, and then I flip it over. And you're always going to have some little thread sticking up here you can trim. But before I do that, I always take my fray check and I just dab it on the back here. So it's like a little bit of glue. And then I'll let that dry. And once that's dried, then I'll come back and trim off all my little legs here from my stitches. And that way I know that the button is glued together nicely so that I don't have to tie them out. That's my way.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. I'm not sure what happened. That was just the weirdest thing. like I said, all my videos I have done the same exact way, and then all of a sudden that happens. Darn. But I hope you were able to get the gist of what she was doing. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I will take that little clip, and I'll see if I can get that downloaded, just that short clip, and put it on the Facebook page, and then that way you can go back to it and it will be in a good sound, with good sound, right? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so isn't that great? It's just so crazy that it was just, Nettie said, let's see, wow, the light just flashed on. Awesome. Yes. Susan shares, OMG, I never thought about taping buttons down. Yeah. Now, I have seen sometimes where people have done a glue stick or whatever, but I don't want to have to deal with a goopy glue stick. And so being able just to place that tape right over top and then just poke the holes, oh my goodness, I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. So Christina shared, that was a great technique to learn. Yes, I totally agree. Let's see. Gina shared, love to learn new things. Don't we all? It's just such a great time to learn new things. And really, it's something that, no matter what project you're working on, I just think it's such a great idea. Robin shares, that's so cool. Thank you. And yes, I totally agree, Susan. Susan shared, that tape is wonderful. Painting tape, magic minting just is not the same. And you are absolutely right, Susan. I can't get enough of the Kimberbell paper tape. That is for sure. All right. So anyway, I hope that helped all of you with learning something new, trying something out. Give it a try, sew on a button, and try a little bit of paper tape to go over top of it. Use your seam ripper or an awl or a stiletto to poke those holes through, and you'll be good to go. So that again is just a smidgen of what you'll find in the My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, the club. So if you're interested in being a club member, it's not too late to sign up, and it's for the entire year. And all you have to do is go to mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. At the very top it says the club. Click on that and you can find out how you do just that. And we have an amazing content creation team that are constantly putting up how-tos, tutorials, videos, printables, free patterns, you name it. We have a webinar, a new webinar every month. I'm about to announce our next webinar to our club members here soon, so you club members will get ready for that, because I have something fun in the works for that. So I will post it today. All right, so any questions about how she put on the button or anything like that? All right. All right. Deborah said, I ordered the tape. It is in my order being shipped. Yes. Good, good, good. Glad to hear. Okay. Birdie says, we want a Kimberbell tape dispenser. I will let Kim know. I think something might be in the works. I think. If not, you just check out at just at an office supply or store or whatever and get a little tape dispenser. The problem is how wide it is, so I understand that's a little bit more of the dilemma. But yeah, Ann was able to find something, and Bill, I should say, was able to find something for that. So, but how much better would it be to have the dispenser with the Kimberbell name on it, right? So, all right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm glad to know that this is new to some of you. Sue shares, I never knew you could put the button in the foot, but I will be using tape. So yeah, check out your sewing machines, ladies, because there is that little special button foot. It's got the little prongs, and you usually will just insert the button right there between those prongs. But now that I've seen Ann Bill's tip of the tape, I don't think I'll be doing it that way any longer. All right. What else? Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Sherry. She said, learned so many new things this last month. Plus. Yeah, it's been a few weeks, hasn't it? All right. Oh, there we go, AJ. She said, add the tape dispenser to the Bella box. I'll let the team at Kimberbell know. That's great. Yep, Kinsey says that input is amazing. And you're right. They also, you know, a lot of our machines will come with the button whole foot as well. And if you have a one-step buttonhole, oh, my friends, like, forget about it. It's just the easiest thing you ever did do. Don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of it. And we'll have to do a video on how to use the buttonhole foot, because all of your machines, no matter what brand, I bet 98% of them have them. So, all right. Okay. Someone is sewing buttons as you watch. All right, good to know.